So here's what's happening next with the channel. We finished all 140 TypeScript type challenges. 20 people worked together to make that happen, and we never missed a day, so it's very exciting. We have 3 new kinds of videos that are going to be showing up on the channel. The first one is a showcase series where we're going to sit down with the authors of various TypeScript projects you may have heard about and talk about what they are and how they work, and we're going to go right into the weeds, so we're going to take a very deep dive as quickly as possible. Pretty advanced stuff, but if you're into that, you should really like it. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we're going to sit down with large open source projects and the maintainers of those projects and see what it's like to maintain them, what it's like to triage issues and look at open source PRs, and just like the meta work around actually accomplishing the task that that library or project sets out to accomplish. So it should be a very different kind of series, and hopefully it'll be interesting to maybe even a different crowd. Finally, we're going to have some theory crafting videos where we talk about, well, like, what does 0 extends 1 mean, and how does it have anything to do with tail call recursion, and maybe we'll even look at higher order types a little bit. So those theory crafting videos are going to be very focused, and yeah, just stick around and you're going to see more of that. That'll be more similar to the challenges and the stuff we've done so far, but very focused. So those are the new kinds of videos, but we're still going to have videos from the in-person events that happen here in Ann Arbor, and we have a little backlog of those. We sort of paused posting them for a while because the challenges sort of took over and clobbered everything else, but you're going to see a little backlog of those, and we have some pretty exciting ones. We have like 5 or 6 now that are built up. And the last bit is about what MiTS is, no clickbait, no ads, that kind of thing, and the purpose of it. So bringing TypeScript developers together. TypeScript is the main character of this channel, not any particular one person. So hopefully this will be one of the last videos you see in a little while where it's just one person talking. All right, let's get into it. So yeah, we did it. We did the type challenges. That's pretty exciting. I mean, this has been a long project. It started actually around August or so of last year when we started doing them at the MiTS meetups, and we did them as a group, and then like slowly evolved into like, hey, we should make videos, and then kind of became what it became and what you saw on the channel now with all these great people getting involved. I think 20 people in total were involved with recording these challenges. So very exciting stuff, and we're very proud and happy to have that content up there. I got to give a big shout out to all the people who put up solutions on the type challenges GitHub, because we couldn't have done it without you. So there are a couple you saw many times, like Team Chong, Alexi, Human Detail, Drylint, Just Bad Programmer, UID11. I mean, the Major Lift, who came on the channel and did some with us. So there are a bunch of people. I can't name them all, but I really just wanted to say thank you to all of those people for putting those up, because it ended up being one of the most interesting parts of the whole series. Actually, I thought going into it, watching somebody go through the process of solving would be the most interesting thing, but I realized pretty quickly that no, looking at the differences between different takes on it, looking at the different solutions is the most interesting part. Sometimes it is cool to watch somebody go through the thought process, but they can only do one thought process. It's really interesting to look into the minds of different people and see different things. So that was cool. Speaking of which, I gotta say, there are some things that we would have done very differently looking back. Maybe using variable names other than T and U, maybe relaxing the very stringent rule about the 60 character limit so that it's viewable on a phone. There are some things like that that are regrets, but that's okay. You know, 1 foot forward, and we'll just keep moving and try to make good content in the future, learning from some of those mistakes. It was tough to not be able to learn from some of those mistakes in process, because there were videos airing in May that were recorded in January. And, you know, from your point, from your perspective as the viewer, you just see like it's May and a video is recorded with the same mistakes that were happening in January. But anyway, going forward, I think things are going to be a lot different, and I've learned a lot, and I think it's going to be a pretty smooth experience. The final little bit I want to say about the challenges is that a big worry going into all of this with us here at MiTS organizing this, and there are more people than me, but you see me, but there are people behind the scenes kind of coordinating and helping all of this stuff move along. Also the in-person event. So one of the worries was, this is a lot of content. 140 videos is quite a few videos, and that's 140 days of content if we release them every day. Originally, we were thinking like, well, what if we release like every Monday we release 10 of them or something like that? But the problem is that someone would watch the first 2 or 3 and then like no one would see the last ones. And maybe the 9th and 10th one would be like incredible, amazing ones. So you kind of want to give them a chance to all live on their own. So that was part of what went into the decision. We asked a lot of people, do you think you would get exhausted having a video every day? And many people told us, no, that would be awesome. I would love to have crazy content like that, TypeScript advanced stuff every single day. That would be amazing. Well, it isn't. I mean, I think that's like should be very clear by now. It is so exhausting to have this kind of content. I have to be totally honest. I was in all of the videos. I definitely could not watch all of them every day. I tried to, I wanted to, but things come up and I just couldn't keep up with it. So I skipped a couple. What am I going to do? So I think hopefully that effect is over. But what I want to say is I feel like I'm a little worried that we hosed the channel and everybody is just like completely over it. So there will be a very different sort of cadence going forward. I don't think there'll be really any cadence at all, I guess, matter of fact, but I don't think there's going to be any kind of focus on any kind of schedule. I don't believe in schedules when it comes to stuff like this. The YouTubers that I love and that I watch, I don't care at all, and I'm not even aware of what their upload schedule is. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that when I look at a video of theirs, it's really cool, really interesting stuff, and so we're going to try to stick to that ethos. Next are the showcases. We've already recorded a few of these actually because we just couldn't wait. It's a super exciting format. Basically what it is have you ever been a TypeScript developer and you're sitting there and you see something on Hacker News or somewhere and it's just like, wow, I can't believe that that's possible in TypeScript, or just some amazing project, but you don't have a chance necessarily to use it or sit down with it. It's just something that you'd like to know more about, but you never get to hear more about. And nobody else talks about it again, or maybe people chat about it, but you don't get to see it. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a chance to see it. We're going to get up close and personal with the authors of those libraries. So for example, one that we already recorded was with David Blast, the author of Archetype, and we sit down with David and he shows us, he shares his screen and he leads the conversation and shows us Archetype and what it's like and how it works. We got another one with Andrew Branch looking at Are the Types Wrong? It's this cool project. Andrew's on the TypeScript team, so he has a lot of cool insights to share on that and what it's for and how it works. So you take a look at those. I think the goal with those is just to find the most exciting and interesting projects and look at those. Many of the things on our list that we're reaching out to authors for are pretty small projects that have like a single-digit number of stars in some cases, but you may not have heard of. Some of them are a couple thousand stars, but this is probably going to be a place where smaller library authors get a chance to come talk about their library. This is a bit of a personal aside, but I think it's something that most people will be able to relate to in some form. I have this friend who's super, super smart, way smarter than me, very, very able-bodied engineer for sure, and does very interesting things. And in a Discord server with some friends, he said, oh, I'm trying to use NixOS to configure my label printer. And one of the people said, now you just need to hook it up to a webhook and use image recognition AI to print out labels for anything you take a picture of. So 2 hours later, like 2 hours, he sent us a video of him taking a picture of an Xbox controller and then putting his phone in his pocket. And his label printer printed a label saying a picture of an Xbox controller sitting on this wooden table. So it's a pretty interesting thing, but I was trying to tell him, like, you should write a blog post or do something about this. And he's like, nah, why would I do that? Nobody wants to read that. I really want there to be a place where people do cool little stupid things. Maybe that's stupid. I don't know. I think it's cool. But where people do stuff like that and they have an opportunity to share it and explain how they did it and how it worked, where it's kind of low pressure. So one of the things that we're trying really hard to do with these challenges is make it something where, as a library author, as a maintainer, you may not have time to put together a video on your thing. But what you can do is come over to us on MiTS and we'll do all the heavy lifting for you. We'll make the thumbnail and just do everything that there is. All you have to do is take a call, like a 1 hour call one day, and show us what you do, and we'll ask questions. And from there, a video will appear and you don't have to do any work. So that's the idea, is to make it like very low touch from the perspective of people making cool things so they can share them with the world. I think there's I know lots of people who make cool stuff and nobody knows. So I would love there to be an opportunity for that to happen. And that's what we're trying to do with the showcases. And then there's the Let's Code series. It took a while to come up with a name for this. It's like Day in the Life of Maintainer is really what it should be called, but that's too long. So Josh Goldberg, the maintainer of TypeScript ESLint, gave me that name. I think it's a good name, so we went with it. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting experience because it will be very different from the showcases that we were talking about before. And the idea is that maybe people don't understand or realize what it is that goes into maintaining a large open source project. There are lots of fiddly bits that you have to do right in order to have like a good flow. Like it's almost like a marketing funnel where there's like a top of funnel and you have to have like certain things have to get like figured out at that top of the funnel. And then if you make a mistake higher up, it'll trickle down. And so a lot of these projects have learned a lot and they've made decisions about how to handle certain things, how to triage tickets, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to sit down and talk about those. We've already recorded one of these. It was a little while ago, actually. It was with Sebastian from the React team and Matt Pocock. Actually, the three of us got together because Sebastian and Matt were talking on Twitter about the React types. And so we sat down and talked about Sebastian as the maintainer of the React types. So Sebastian Silberman, by the way, I should say. There's two Sebastians. But yeah, so we sat down and talked about it. I think it was a really cool conversation. I'm very excited to launch that video. And yeah, there's going to be more like that. So I think the idea is to just give a chance for you to see the other side of the spectrum. The showcases are kind of like focused on the small side, like focal little things, maybe even toy projects that don't necessarily have widespread appeal. Whereas the other side is going to be filled by the Let's Code series, where we're going to be looking at like, okay, let's jump in. Let's see how we actually maintain this thing on a large scale. So I think they're very different, but maybe there will be also some overlap. Some of them have been questionable, like, oh, would that be better as a Let's Code or as a showcase? And maybe for some things we'll have two. Maybe two of the same category. After we finished with David in the showcases on Archetype, we kept thinking like, oh man, there's so much more to show about Archetype. So maybe we'll do another one. There's no rule against that. If people like it and they're interested, I guess just let us know in the comments or on the Discord for Michigan TypeScript or wherever you can contact us, what you like and what you don't like, and we'll kind of tailor things from there. And then the last of the new kinds of videos that are going to be showing up is the theory crafting videos. So there's a lot of advanced TypeScript stuff that's very interesting, but it's been covered in like weird places. I can barely even figure out which video to point someone to sometimes when they ask a question about a thing. So I want to make specific videos targeting specific concepts. As advanced as possible would be best. So there are things like 0 extends 1 I mentioned in the beginning. If you haven't seen 0 extends 1, you might look at that code and go, what in the world is that? But it's a thing. I promise it's a thing. Like lots of people do it. But what does it mean and how does it work and how does it function? Is it a bug that's being exploited or what? So we're going to look at all of those things specifically and focally and make little, hopefully short videos. I think it will vary topic by topic. Some of them will be shorter than others, but like 5-minute videos, maybe 10-minute max, something like that. And yeah, just let us know what is interesting to you and if you have any ideas. I have about 25 different topics that have been parted out into like sort of videos that we could focus on, and I'm starting to build up a sort of repertoire of what is going to make sense to put in those videos, and also asking people who would like to join. So I'm going to talk about this at the end, but yeah, I don't want to do videos just one person. This is not Dimitri's TypeScript channel. This is Michigan TypeScript. There's supposed to be a lot of people involved, and we've been able to do that successfully. I'd like to keep it going. We'd all like to keep it going. Oh, and the last little thing about that is, wouldn't it be cool if there was a way for you to give early feedback on the different theory crafting topics? Maybe, actually, this has already sort of happened a little bit in the comments. A couple of the videos, the notes of them are just like actually threads of comments on different type challenge videos where people say, oh, I would not do it that way. I would do it this way. And then they talk back and forth. And it gives a lot of context for what makes sense to different people. And we can talk about it in that fashion. So, you know, it's like how some people have Patreons or creators have Patreons where you can get like exclusive early access to what that person is working on and maybe even provide early feedback on what they're doing. So I'm thinking something like that, but free. Everything here is free. So I think the place for that is going to be the Discord channel. So if you're interested in that and you'd like to be a part of that, there's going to be a channel. Come look on the Discord server for theory crafting, and you'll be able to provide early feedback there. And then, of course, the in-person events are still happening here in Michigan. Actually, they've been happening all along since the last 6 months or so, but we sort of stopped posting them because it's just too much content on the channel, and they get pushed under the waves, sort of, and it's not worth it to post something like that if nobody ever gets to see it because there's just too much content happening and it just doesn't hit at the right moment. So we need a little space for that kind of thing to exist. But the good news is we have a backlog of some pretty interesting talks. We have Josh Goldberg of TypeScript ESLint came over and did a rebuttal to one of the channel's talks early on. You may recall this video, TypeScript enums are terrible. And so Josh's talk is called TypeScript enums are misunderstood, not terrible. So it's like a different take on a different sort of way of looking at things. I think it's very interesting. We had someone from the Redux Saga team come and talk to us about async generators, and that talk was a very mind-blowing experience. I couldn't speak straight for like 7 hours afterwards because my mind, like head was just spinning from all this talk with async generators. Super interesting stuff. We had someone come from Grafana talking about the language they're working on, and it's called Q, and they have this thing Thema and all kinds of stuff. It's a schema language, very interesting for managing all those Grafana dashboards, and it's extensible in a way that could be used for a lot more than just Grafana dashboards. So that was cool. This month in June, we have someone coming to talk about using TypeScript to do Pokemon tasks running. So like speed running, like mechanized speed running using TypeScript in Game Boy emulators and things. So just different kinds of stuff. And I think it's all very interesting, but I didn't we just didn't feel right posting it and nobody ever hearing about it. So those things are going to be trickling in. We have a little bit of a backlog, but you should expect to see like once a month or so, you'll see another video or 2 or 3, depending on what we do, posting on the channel about just whatever we talked about that month in the in-person event. All right, it would be a mistake to make a channel update video like this and not remind you all that Michigan TypeScript is free for everyone forever. That's the point of this project. It's to share knowledge, not to make money, not to have anybody, become internet famous. This is just like a way to get this knowledge out there because it really wasn't being done before. And still now, I think like this super duper advanced TypeScript stuff, nobody is making content on this. And I kind of understand why, because it's not palatable to most people. That JSON parse video that is like one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had writing TypeScript. It was going through all of that and with Mike, and it's just not something that a lot of people are ever going to see in full, and that's okay. The people who do see it are going to be very interested in it. That's the point of all of this. So all the videos are demonetized, and at least to the extent that they can be. There's a little caveat there, which is that on YouTube, at least as of now, it's May 20th, 2023. You can't turn off monetization for shorts. I don't know why they don't allow you to do that, but for whatever it is, you're not allowed to. So the shorts so far have made like a single-digit number of dollars, and I think you have to make like $100 before YouTube will cut you a check in any fashion. So I think we're in the clear. The point is that there's no clickbait here because there's no incentive to make clickbait. Getting views is not really the point. Sharing knowledge is the point. And it's known in advance that some of the knowledge that we're sharing is not something that a lot of people really care about. Like I said, the point is that the people who do care about it care a lot about it, and they'll be very interested in having that content. So the goal is never to be first, and you're going to see actually quite a lot of things are going to come around where maybe somebody else made a video about something and you'll see the same sort of video happen on this channel. I think that's totally okay, and I encourage other people to make videos about the things that happen on this channel. If you think you can make it more palatable to the masses, please, by all means. Like, the point is to share this knowledge, so it should be something that everybody should be cheering on. We can all work together on that. So that's good. The more you get into this YouTube thing, you find that there are all these tricks about things that you can do to kind of hack your audience. So like there's like retention hacks, and it's been a weird experience seeing about all of that because many of those things boil down to tricking people, and we don't want to ever trick anyone. So that's why this isn't like a low-key way of asking. I don't ask people to subscribe, and we're not going to be asking people to subscribe to the channel. It doesn't matter if you subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you feel compelled to by seeing great content, and that is the goal. So it would be better to have a low number of subscribers who are highly engaged. That's kind of the idea. And we're not going to do, like, one of the tricks is to not put chapters on your video so that people cannot skip ahead because they don't know like what order things are going to be in. I'm sorry, that doesn't make for better content of the sort that I would like to see, and the other people, like Ian and Aaron and the other people who are helping put this content together, they're not interested in that either. We just want to see like something that is really easy to access, but does go deep into these topics, that does take like a really strong look at how some of this stuff works under the hood. And yeah, we don't need to hack our audience to do that. Our audience is already pretty with it. And if not, that's okay too. Sometimes I like to watch conference talks on things I have no idea about just to have my mind blown. I think it's a good thing if that content is out there, even if it doesn't really make sense to you. There's a Rich Hickey talk that I've watched at least 6 times. It's an hour and a half long, and I don't know, I think I'm like halfway towards understanding it. So, that's good. That's how this kind of thing goes sometimes, and that's okay. And speaking of which, a couple people have asked how to support the channel, and that's a very flattering thing for us to hear, but there really isn't a way to support the channel other than watching the videos. You could send, if you think there's a video that's interesting to someone please send it to them. That would be cool. But yeah, that's okay. I don't think there's any other thing you can do other than watch and comment on the videos if you think there's something interesting. But if you don't want to play the YouTube game, you could come on Discord and talk with us there. Doesn't matter. But just learning this stuff is the best way. So yeah, bring it to your workplace and show people some new thing that you learned how to do, and spread the word about what TypeScript can do and the benefits of it, and also drawbacks. Sometimes you can go a little too hard with TypeScript. It's a common criticism, and it's not a wrong one. So yeah, that's the thing. I think there's really not much you can do. I guess what I say to people jokingly is you can vote for us on the State of JavaScript report when it comes around this year. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. Thank you for watching. That's the most important thing. So wrapping it all up, the point of Michigan TypeScript is to unite TypeScript authors together and to get them talking to each other. And, that means people talking to you through the screen here, through YouTube. So authors coming on talking about the thing that they work on. But it also means putting those authors in DMs together on Discord. And I've been really happy to have been able to do that a couple times. Some of the people that have been on the challenges so far knew about each other and were fans of each other's work, but had never actually talked. And once I heard this, it's happened now 3 times that I'm like, well, I got to get you guys talking to each other. This is so easy. I have both of your Discords, like, let's do it. And so now they're talking and they know each other now. And I really love that part of it. And it's been a really exciting thing to sort of expand the network like that. So we're really hoping to do more of that, not less, going forward. And we'll see how it goes. I have to repeat, TypeScript is the main character of this channel. This isn't, I'm a little nervous making a video, long vlog style video like this, but a lot of people have been asking what's going to happen next and like what other things are coming down the pipe. And I want to give some kind of preface for what that is. So I know that most people are probably not watching by now, but thank you if you are. This is a real like passion project, and a lot of people, like I said, are working on it and making it, coordinating it, and there's a lot of moving pieces to it. So thank you for paying your attention to us, and I hope that you let us know in the future if there are things that you'd like to see or things that you don't like. Just chime in and we can make those adjustments going forward. It's one really exciting thing about this next chapter of the channel is not having to be stuck on what happened a couple months ago when we were recording, like with the challenges. So yeah, we can grow and we can learn as we go, and you're a big part of that journey. So thanks for sticking around.